Allow us to introduce you to the future of the game. Athletes that have committed the majority of their lives to sharpening their skills on the way, they hope, to the pinnacle. In its first 15 years, the Perfect Game All-American Classic has served as a springboard for 206 first-round picks and 161 major leaguers. Today, in San Diego, we join them on their journey to the top. One of the most beautiful cities in North America, no better place for a baseball game, and in this case, a gathering of the finest amateur baseball players in North America here at the home of the Padres, Petco Park. And this is the 2018 Perfect Game All-American Classic, the 16th edition of this great game that each year turns out to be a draft preview of what goes on the next year. And when we think about that, understand 700-plus players, 600-plus have been drafted. 200 or more first-round picks, 161 we've seen in ballparks like this. And border to border, north of the border, south of the border, Puerto Rico as well. Very, very well represented. We're excited. We're super represented up here in the broadcast booth. My name is Darren Sutton. Dan O'Dowd, longtime Major League executive. We brought him in off the studios from the MLB Network. Thanks for spending time with us.
Thank you for having me.
Very excited about it.
And very excited.
The insights of a scout, David Ronsley, Perfect Game's Vice President of Player Personnel. And more than 3 decades, you've scouted athletes just like these, many of them on their way to the big leagues. Dan, in your time as a scout and an executive, if you had an event like this where you could pit players in this setting against one another, what's the benefit?
Well, again, this is the last look from an industry perspective before the June next year when you have all these players together competing against one another. And I use that term competing. I never got concerned about results necessarily in this game, but I really focused on the players went about doing what they did. 2 things for me really I'd look for to stand out. Good players like to compete against other good players. This setting provides that. Number 2, I'd love to see the players that when the game started to speed up, they had a way to slow it down. There's not many events in the country that allows us to do this. This is one. That's why these looks are so important before you get into your spring looks.
David, you've been watching these players for more than a half decade, some since they were about 12 years old. So just select three that are so special, so unique, in a very athletic class. Give us 3 to look for.
Well, I'm going to give you 3 dynamic athletes, Darren. The first one is C.J. Abrams from Georgia, a middle-of-the-field player, plays shortstop now. I think I like him better at second base. He's 6'2", 180 pounds, one of the fastest players in this class. And because he has that size as a left-handed hitter, he can be a plus offensive player in the middle of the field. And he's the kind of player tonight, if you see him hit a ball up an alley like you just saw there, he's going to be thinking inside the park home run. And the fielders better be thinking the same thing because he can fly.
Jerrion Ely is out of Carthage, Mississippi. He's committed to Ole Miss as a running back and as a center fielder.
Yeah, this is just an incredible athlete. He can do anything on the baseball field. He's the 3rd-ranked running back in the country. He's the 4th-ranked baseball player. He's got the strong right field arm. He's got unbelievable speed, 6'1", 60 guy. And he has that strength that you can see right there in a short, compact swing. And as he gets more baseball repetitions, the sky is the ceiling for him athletically.
Bobby Witt Jr. in the middle of the infield, the #1 player in the nation. Huge power, too. He was at the high school home run derby at Major League Baseball's All-Star Game.
Well, Bobby has sort of defined this class since the beginnings when they were freshmen. He's been the #1 ranked player in the class for some time, and we've seen him grow so much. He's a great middle infielder. He can play any of the infield positions, but what we've seen over the last year is that power develop, the bat speed as he starts getting stronger, and that's what makes him a very worthy #1 in this class.
We're also going to see a whole bunch of velocity on those mounds as well, and one of the key names is a gentleman who pitches in Georgia at a high school, but he's from Panama City. Let's bring in the 4th member of our broadcast team. She'll introduce us to young Mr. Daniel Espino. Danny Wexelman, take it away.
Daniel Espino hasn't taken the easiest path to get to where he is today. He has family all the way from Panama, including his dad, who hasn't seen him pitch in person in 2 years. So he's ready to rock and roll. Meet today's starter for the East, Daniel Espino.
Hi, I'm Daniel Espino, Georgia Premier Academy. It feels good. Obviously, I have worked hard for it. Seriously, if I tell you what does it feel, I would say it's just normal for me, but a lot of people think it's amazing.
Slider. He throws a lot of really good sliders. Hey, when you come into the box, you better hit his fastball because he's coming with the velo. He's trying to pump that radar right there, and if you miss it, you're striking out because he has that slider. You kind of just have to be on time with him. He's a really hard throwing pitcher. He can make you miss. Can make you miss. Just gotta be on time and ready to go with him.
I've been playing baseball since I was 3, and you know the opportunities in Panama are not the same that are over here. So it was, I would say, the greatest thing, the best decision I have made in my life to come over here and play the game of baseball, and all of this get to playing in the Tampa Bay's the Tropicana field, and all of that just motivated me to work hard every single day.
Obviously, my legs, my hip. I think the legs because they're the biggest muscle of my body, and you gotta train them and just use it the right way. So if we use the legs and don't put more stress in the arm, obviously you're gonna go farther and you're gonna gain more velo about it.
So a lot of people, when they throw hard, some of them may not have control. It may go everywhere. But he actually throws strikes in the strike zone, so you're looking at a pitch to hit almost even first pitch, second pitch, it don't matter.
My mom, my dad, all of them have been very supporting in this process, so I'm very blessed with it. They're everything to me. My grandma, she always prayed for me before, after the game, and just I'm very blessed with it.
I mentioned his family from Panama. That includes his grandma, Audina, who is here for her very first time in the United States to watch her grandson play ball.
Outstanding stuff, Danny. Enjoying getting to see his work on the mound. He dreams of being a Hall of Famer someday. The honorary chairman of Perfect Game's All-American Classic is Trevor Hoffman. When we come back, we go home with Trevor for a conversation.
Draw it. Test it. Draw it again. Clean lines, strong angles. Designed to hold up against the hardest thrown pitches in the game. No more chin music, no more brushbacks. Introducing the Mach and the Mach EXT. Coverage equals confidence.
Nacho fries are back at Taco Bell.
The ads are everywhere.
With Mexican spices and warm nacho cheese sauce. One thing's for sure.
The future is nacho fries.
Nacho fries are back, now serving at Taco Bell.
You want to pitch like an all-star, hit like an MVP, and field like a champ? Then you need to
Play ball. Play ball. Play ball.
learn to play like a pro from the pros. Play ball Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network. Catch a Monday day-night doubleheader on MLB Network. Leading off at 1:30 Eastern, the Marlins face the Braves. Then at 10, it's off to L.A. to see Bumgarner and the Giants match up with Kershaw and the Dodgers. Monday doubleheader baseball live on MLB Network.
Baseball in San Diego and the Perfect Game Classic tied with Trevor Hoffman. Hand in hand, certainly, the honorary chairman of this Perfect Game All-American Classic. Each and every year, he provides his insights to the athletes. And just moments after these athletes got to visit his beautiful beach house in Del Mar, California, we sat down, we reflected, and we also got some advice from the brand new Hall of Famer, Trevor Hoffman.
Mingling with some family, and a voice came from above on the second floor veranda where the rocking chairs was at, and it says, Hoffman, up here. And I look up, it was Mr. Bench. And I immediately said goodbye to everybody, up the stairs, and he sat me down in a rocking chair, and he said, just start rocking and look out over the water. take a look at the beautiful scenery. Take a breath. And he kind of walked down. We probably shouldn't be talking too much about it because it's something special he does with all the new Hall of Famers, but he did a great job in allowing me to relax and enjoy the moment and take it in. Like you're saying, you're now a Hall of Famer, and so you've accommodated a lot of people up to this point. Take a moment and reflect on it.
So what I find interesting about that, and I watched my father go through the entire experience, is much like these perfect game athletes, you were a kid again. Even though you're older now and you're done playing, you were actually a rookie all over again. Was that humbling yet exhilarating?
It took you right back to when you were a rookie the first time in the game, and you needed to find your place, and you weren't comfortable with maybe what table to go to, or make sure you don't say anything stupid to get it into a ruckus or whatever. And so it was awesome. It was a great feeling to be a part of a new team, a very select team, and to be welcomed per man unanimously, just welcoming open arms was something I didn't expect, and it was certainly overpowering.
So as your sons get older and they move into college baseball, maybe professional baseball, why are you still involved with these young high school players? Where's the draw? What pulls you in? Because you don't have to do this.
I think, one, they're tremendous athletes. They have a love for the game, and so it's an opportunity to give back. It's an opportunity to kind of see where they're at in their careers, and if there's some little nugget you can pass on that makes a difference on where they're headed. I mean, Spencer Jones, a kid from La Casa Canyon, I remember talking to his Encinitas Little League team before they went to San Bernardino for a big All-Star game, and he was 11 years old. Now to see how he's matured and become what the community thought he would be and everything in front of him, I mean, that's kind of what it's about. I have an opportunity to kind of give back, but also to see the next wave of great athletes that are coming through.
So everyone watching this, the young athletes that aren't All-Americans, some may be in high school that didn't make it to this level.
Sure.
I'm going to steal this for you because give me some advice. I'm 14 and I can play. I've got a fresh Hall of Famer who has good character with the way he approaches things. So give me, the 14-year-old athlete, some advice.
Well, I think my path was something that should be someone that searches that out. I think you have to have a dream. And if you don't have that dream and you can't believe seeing yourself in a big league uniform, or you can't see yourself in a perfect game, All-American classic game, then you need to rethink of what some of your goals are and figure out how you can get there. I love talking about Mackenzie Gore, a kid that the Padres drafted last year, that he came into this game and he struggled a little bit. He ended up throwing 30-something pitches. And he went home and he said, I need to do a little bit more if I want to be on the level that I'm competing against with these guys here. And to his credit, he did. He had a tremendous high school season, and the rest is history, kind of where he's moving forward. But that young kid that's sitting there at home going, how can I get to that stage? You have to start with a dream, and then you have to be convicted in being able to work hard to achieve it.
Follow my path, he says. Remember, this was a minor league infielder drafted by the Reds in the 11th round that hit .212 in 1990. Follow my path. Last night he educated these athletes on failure. You know what else Trevor Hoffman educated on? Giving back to the community. Trevor has been so involved with Rady Children's Hospital and Perfect Game, hand in hand, each year with this event involved more than $1 million raised for pediatric cancer. The honorary member of the Perfect Game All-American Classic this year is cancer survivor Casey Harvey at 16 years old. She told us last night she shouldn't be here at all today. Here is the story of Casey Harvey.
Really, cancer is something that comes into your life unexpectedly. One day, you just kind of wake up and it's there, you're told it's there, and you don't really know what it is. You're kind of confused and really scared that you don't know what this thing is going to do to you. Each morning, my dad would wake me up at 6, and we'd be out here at 6 in the morning. I'd be on the equipment doing my short bursts of cardio and resistance bands, and it definitely wasn't a pretty sight. It wasn't your fitness girl working out here in the gym. It was a lot of tears, a lot of pain. I kind of just went into this mindset that I have to beat it. There is no other option for me than to beat cancer. I'm not going to die. I'm not going to die at 13 years old. I'm going to let cancer come into my life, and I'm going to beat it. I'm going to be stronger. There were so many moments like that where I would wake up and I would cry for a couple minutes, and then my dad would talk to me. He would sit on my bed and say, you have to do this. And eventually I'd come to. It didn't really take me that long because I realized that this was necessary for me to beat cancer. I had to be out here. I had to be working out. I was able to beat cancer because of it. I don't know why cancer didn't kill me, but it made me stronger. It made me into the person I am sitting here right now. And I'm kind of thankful that cancer came into my life. Even though it was a horrific year that it took from me, it took so many things from me, but it also gave me a lot of things. Rady Children's Hospital has some of the most incredible people and staff you'll ever meet. I've met lifelong friends, not only as patients there, but as nurses, and the respect I have for my doctors and for my nurses and for all the staff at Rady's is more than I could ever explain in words. I am incredibly thankful for the role they played in my journey because they ultimately saved my life. They were the doctors that got my treatment plan together. They were the nurses that spent overtime delivering me medication, and they were the people that helped save my life. They played the biggest role in my journey. I could never thank them enough.
The 53rd member of Perfect Game's All-American Classic, Casey Harvey. And what an amazing story. These athletes have received some good advice from someone about a year or two younger. Casey Harvey, a Perfect Game All-American, throwing out the first pitch, her catcher, Trevor Hoffman. When we come back, we're going to introduce you to the finest players in all of amateur baseball. The Perfect Game All-American Classic, the East versus the West. And those of you that like to scout and look ahead and dream of what the draft might look like, this game is for you. What a thrill to see what Casey was able to do. Get it in there, Case! The ball game is next.